Low-carbon exponential technologies such as wind and solar energy are rapidly getting deployed, decarbonizing the power grid. However, being weather-dependent, they add intermittency, making it a challenge to match instantaneous supply and demand. This is the last disadvantage of renewable energy, and we at Greenlytics are working towards tackling this challenge.
Uncertainty in power production and consumption is one of the key factors holding back accelerated integration of renewable energy into the power system. Greenlytics is providing tools for forecasting and optimization based on machine learning to control tomorrow's distributed and dynamic energy system. This is done by unlocking latent value in weather, market, and asset data, transforming it into actionable insights. That's exactly what Greenlytics is about.
In 2019, we launched the Greenlytics platform. Our platform delivers an automated machine learning-based forecasting engine that generates value within minutes. With just a few clicks, all components are connected, configured, and customized to deliver state-of-the-art wind, solar, consumption, and other energy-related forecasts. We put a very high value on our customers' time, and we strive to minimize the setup and maintenance without any compromise on accuracy or reliability.
In 2019, we reached a point in our startup journey where we had validated our solution in several corporate pilots. We were ready to commercialize and scale our business offering in Sweden and beyond to the European market.
When we met IBM, we were happy with our former cloud provider, one of the most recognized in the market. But as part of becoming enterprise-ready at scale, allowing our customers to rely on Greenlytics every day for their data and forecasting needs, we had a look at IBM Cloud. And now, having migrated to IBM since a few months back, we can't believe we didn't consider them in the first place. We assumed migrating our entire compute stack to IBM Cloud would be a challenging task, but good documentation and tools have simplified the process to an extent where we felt comfortable with our choice. We have now a robust and secure platform to meet the availability demands from our current and future corporate clients. We see several synergies in joining the IBM startup ecosystem, leveraging their data, tools for machine learning, and optimization engine.
Greenlytics is on a mission, and we have now the backing and tech of IBM to increase the pace of change to a sustainable energy future.
Sustainability, well, a focus we all need to have right now. And I'm so looking forward to dive deeper into this story from IBM and Greenlytics. And with me, I have Sebastian and Urban. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Hi, Maria. Nice to be here.
Thank you for being here in person as well. That's really nice. And so I always love to hear how you met, but let's start with another question this time. Sebastian, can you tell me, as a startup, who are your customers?
Absolutely. So I usually say that our vision is to empower tomorrow's energy innovators. So everyone that's an energy innovator, we believe is the companies that are driving the energy system to become more sustainable. So these are our customers, and especially we're targeting energy aggregators, so startups, as well as energy traders. So a couple of our customers, for example, is Bixia and Tiber.
So, but when you met IBM for the first time, how long ago was that?
That was back, must be 1.5 years ago now, I guess.
I think it was September at the Ignite event at Sting. So September 2019, I think.
So what about your business and your business model? Has it changed?
Yes, it has changed indeed. So basically what we have learned from this past time is that we kind of taking a step back a little bit in our business model and really focusing on being developer first. So we see the energy innovators as a target customer group and our early adopters, and then we really need to make the tools and the data that we have available to them in a format that they really can accept it and drive the innovation in their companies.
And what about IBM in that journey? How has they helped you?
Yeah, good question. So I think about it like this. So the collaboration that we have done with IBM is really threefold. So the first part is what you saw in the video, in becoming enterprise ready and really being a stamp that we had kind of an audit and a second opinion on our code base so that we are robust and we can supply to our customers. But on the other hand, it's also about business. So we have worked together with Urban and his team on actually getting a second opinion on our business model and being able to help us in pivoting and finding our way as a startup. And the last part then is the collaboration with other business units within IBM.
And for IBM, why are you getting involved with the startups as Greenlytics?
Yeah, it's a good question. And before you get the more sensible answer, it's just so fun to work with teams like Sebastian. It's, I mean, on a personal note, it's the most fun I've been doing since I graduated from school, right? So I think that we shouldn't forget that. And I think that's smile on your face. And I mean, that smile on puts a smile on my face on like every Monday morning, as well as from the team that I am fortunate to work with at IBM in our accelerator team. I mean, it's, when we reviewed, that was the sort of the driving passion. Nobody got assigned to work with this. Everybody volunteered and did it maybe part-time to begin with, and then got an opportunity to work with it more full-time, like myself. So, but from a business perspective, it's also, I would say, three things. So we want to continue not just to work with the industry leaders of today, but also be relevant to the industry leaders of tomorrow. And doing that by paying forward our own like hard-earned lessons and sharing our network. Number two, we want to create partners for the future, especially in the areas like in the industry verticals where we are already present. So we want to be able to push those forward as well. And thirdly, we want to complement our own offering. So it's been much talk in terms of the why for corporates to engage, but also to complement our own innovation offer out to our existing corporate clients. So that's really an important thing to us, to meet them where they are. And right now, many of those are working together with you guys.
And that's a part that we're working with actually quite a lot right now, the complementary aspects, both in terms of technology and business modeling. And I'm looking forward to work more on that going forward.
So you have some more, that was my next question. What about the future? Can you start, Urban, the future for you? What's the next step?
My hopes is actually, as Sebastian was alluding to, we have a Danish project in particular, Denmark having almost 50% of their energy production coming from wind. And they don't have hydro or nuclear to rely on. So as it's so cyclic in terms of the production as well as the consumption, you need some way to balance that out. And in Denmark, IBM has teamed up together with a DSO, a network provider, and have developed a flex platform, just like you're talking about. So aggregating commercial buildings, spare capacity, forecasting when it can be made available, and then offer that back as balance capacity on the spot market. And companies like Sebastian's are great additions to that, and can really, so that mix, challenging the incumbents, of that mix of young energy as well as great talent, together with sort of some rigid tech and business in the background, I think can really push us forward.
And it's that kind of initiatives that I see as being the energy innovators of tomorrow. So this kind of flex platform that Urban talked about, and what we want to do is provide them with the best data and tools so that they can succeed in their turn. So for example, we're looking into providing data from assets, sharing more data within the industry, as well as providing our data when it comes to weather data or other parameters.
And now you have a golden opportunity. You know, we have a big audience. Do you have any call to action we can use the chat, or I mean, they can find you on LinkedIn. What do you want for the future? What kind of connections or network do you want to get into?
And it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much for that. So, and also putting me a little bit on the spot. I need to think, I think. So really, I mean, I'm really for, tomorrow's data economy where we can share data more. We just talked about this before going on stage here, that data is not shared to the extent that it should be. And I think that that's especially true for old and kind of conservative industries like energy industry or public sector. So I'm happy to talk and network with anyone that kind of this resonates with, and that's also think about data sharing and collaboration around data.
And I mean, it's so interesting to hear from you, Urban, about the passion and the energy that you get internally. What about the culture of innovation at IBM? Has it changed since you started working with startups more?
Yes, I think it's changed a lot. I've been with the company for 10 years. I work for a software company, that a Swedish one actually, that got acquired. So I think I've seen quite a bit of changes. And I think that the last 5 years or so, I mean, we're on a path where pretty much everything we do is open sourced. So either we contribute or we initiate. And I think that's the path forward if you want to create critical mass around anything that you want to do that can really have an impact. So I think that's also the message we give to most of our startups that we engage with, is that yeah, it's great you want to conquer the world, but how are you going to get there and just get the attention to do it? So having open source as part of the strategy, which Sebastian and team really does have. So I think that's an important part. And since we sort of really went all way and paid tons of money in order to acquire Red Hat, which was sort of the starting point with Linux, sort of the starting point of the open source movement. So from that on, that has just accelerated our own sort of journey towards working in open communities, contributing, and that just goes so well hand in hand with working with also startups.
And that's also where we kind of share our vision, I believe. We have been working now on a research project funded by the Swedish Energy Agency that has been going on for several years. And we've been developing a lot of machine learning code and data analytics. And we now take the decision to actually open source many of these algorithms on our GitHub repo. So that's also something that we really want to drive as the kind of driving force in our company to be open, to be collaborative.
And if I can complement on your call to action, talk to Sebastian and teams, and we can also sort of have a conversation with us at IBM and Red Hat in terms of just sharing our views on what does it take in order to be more open and to be able to share data and to work in that collaborative fashion. And I think that's a journey many companies need to, many have already started, but I think more needs to go more all in on that in order to stay afloat and really be top of the curve going forward.
But it looks like when I see you discussing with each other and I see the energy, was it any challenges during the way, or has it always went smooth and happy and?
Everything was always smooth.
Yeah,
of
always.
course. No, but I mean, I think that there has to be like, honest about that. There's always challenges, like working with small and large. This has been a collaboration where we actually, it feels a little bit like Urban and the gang from the IBM Startup Accelerator is kind of a startup itself. Yeah. So we are kind of on like level, eye level with them. But of course, then when it comes to collaborative, finding synergies, then you have to make your way forward, and that's always a tricky thing that but can be overcome.
And from your perspective?
Yeah, in my case, I think that we had a very open dialogue to begin with. I mean, we start off once we have passed sort of the hurdle of the introduction and the assessment, and we feel that we have a mutual. So we put a plan in place where we try to put in writing, and I think with Sebastian and team, it was an early draft of that. Now we've sort of progressed in terms of having more formal documents in place, but really put down in the beginning, so I expect this from you and you expect this from us. And even though it's not legally binding, it's more like a morally binding rather than anything else, because if you don't want to play anymore, who's to keep you? But having that in the beginning, you can always sort of revert back and rather have those questions in the beginning when you're all energized and you want to get started.
Yeah. Completely agree on that. I mean, in any collaboration, I think expectations are key to set that out early and to understand each other's expectations.
So what do you think about, is it anything you mentioned the Swedish Energy Agency, that you are doing a project, you are part of the ecosystem, I know, in different way. Is it anything you're missing or anything you would like to highlight that has been a really nice collaboration? Because the theme is collaboration, doing it together.
No, I mean, I think it's already been highlighted several times, but I will do it one more time because it really deserves it, and that's the Ignite Sweden program. So that's really helped us a lot with, getting in contact with corporates, getting in contact with potential customers, potential partners, like Urban here. So that's really something I would like to highlight. Yeah.
I can just agree. I mean, and one of the few upsides with this year of the COVID has been that Sweden has shrunk, really. So we can connect and we can be on multiple places, and really it doesn't matter if it's in Umeå or if it's down in Skåne that we're meeting companies. Everybody's on sort of like on the same terms. And we wouldn't have met Sebastian and the team if it weren't for Ignite. So really grateful.
And for everyone in the chat, feel free to ask questions. We have time to take some questions, and let's move on with the first one to Sebastian. How important has ABB and Synolip in his to build the company been to where you are right now? IBM, I think they are addressing. IBM.
I mean, I think it is about building your company, and from the start, has you grown? How big is the start right now? So that's a good question. So first of all, maybe I can say something about like incubators and business coaches, and the kind of the vision that we have been taking in the company is that, or the kind of guiding line that we've been taking is maybe to get more perspectives and more eyes on what we're doing is always helpful. Yeah. So some people, they say, I used to have this business coach and I only go with this business coach because that's the best one. But I have a kind of opposite view there, that actually testing your business model with several ones is much better because you have much more insights and much more feedback on that. So second part of the question, so how much have we grown? We actually, I mean, did quite a substantial pivot now during 2020, and we kind of been finding our way through the COVID-19 crisis, and we're now coming out on the other side. I feel much better off, and that is of course partially because of IBM and their feedback that they have given to our business model.
And now we have some really long questions. Let me see here. If you could mention, I think we will take this later on. What about your part in growing or seeing this company grow? Would you feel like, have you helped them in any way? You mentioned business coaches as incubator. What about your role in that case, discussing business models?
I always question myself and think, what could we do more? And sort of going here and said that, I don't know what we've done. I mean, they're so great on their own. But I mean, to be serious, I think that I mean, we're working with 4 areas, right? And Sebastian we're talking about, and I think we've covered most of those. So we're not working maybe a little bit different than other Ignite corporations. So we're not after a project. We're after working with the company. And so if the company pivots, then we try to sort of like roll with the punches and find new areas of how can we help in those. But so the 4 areas is really, I mean, that you were, Sebastian was alluding to, so something that we know, I mean, to be accepted, not just as a startup or as a pilot, but as a real company, and meeting the demands from both legal as well as IT office, so to work with that. Secondly, to position yourself within an enterprise. We work with business development and sales towards large enterprises. We feel we have something to like pay forward in that area. And then to offer, if not validation, because we like to at least feedback. So in the terms of the Danish Energy Flex platform, so far they've gotten feedback. The difference between feedback and validation, money involved, that's validation. The other is an opinion or feedback, but it can be of various value depending on who's sending it. And fourthly, we also look to try to help them break through the noise in terms of marketing, PR. And of course, we work with the business model and just try to give a second opinion. having worked with software licensing, working with SaaS business models and platforms, we just want to share that.
And that has been very appreciated. I mean, what you said there before about the startup in your program, sitting in the driving seat, is driving the car, but you're there behind, you're helping, you're criticizing, you're coming with your input and feedback. That's important.
And I think that's so important that what you said to get help from as many ways as possible. And that comes up to the next question that is actually about pitching. And we all know that you are doing a lot of pitches as a startup. And actually, we had a masterclass, business-to-business sales, just before this conference started. And it's all for preparing the startups for tomorrow's meetings, because you have a lot of meetings tomorrow. And that is not about pitching. That is all about listening to the corporate's need. You say about 80% of listening and 20% about talking. What about that first meeting? Can you tell us how you got the interest at IBM and how you sell or tell instead of maybe pitch to the corporate?
Yes, I mean, so what Urban said before is that this collaboration that IBM is doing within Ignite is a little bit different from other. So they're not coming there, searching for a solution, but they're searching for a company, for a startup.
Yeah.
And there's really been, I mean, what I feel is important there is chemistry, right? It's really to feel like, we can do something together, they understand what we're working with, and that was really what I felt the first meeting, like, they actually understand what we're doing, they kind of, they talk the same language, they know about our space, and that was really, really cool for us to see. When it comes to, not pitching in front of customers, I mean, that's really where I've done a lot of mistakes, and I'm trying to learn every time, and it's really, you need to bite your tongue not to come up with your solution, and really to understand what they need, and really to, double click on their pain, and understanding that what is it that they're after, and making them, express it for you, and making them pitch the solution instead of you.
Yeah, good answer. And I think we will round up with that, because that is what it's all about, the chemistry, right? You want to really feel that. The digital version of the meeting might be a bit, we have a filter with a screen in between, but I love to see the energy between you, and to hear about what it has given you in different values. So thank you so much for being here with us today. And do you have any meetings tomorrow, Sebastian?
Yes, several. I think I have 7 meetings tomorrow. Yeah.
So best of luck tomorrow with all the meetings. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Maria.